All right, so today is Thursday, the 21st of February, 2019, and this is our first Showtalk call of the year. We are recording the call, and we will also be posting this into Showpedia. So we've got a lot of content to cover today. We're going to be going over an exciting new automated email marketing program, and really, frankly, this is probably our biggest launch of the year as far as a new marketing initiative. So we're excited to share that with you. Lynn Chapman is going to show a new tool that she's put together that she debuted at our region meeting in Jacksonville week before last, called the GPS, the Growth Planning Solution, and a lot of people who saw it seemed excited about. And then the last thing is we're going to do a panel on the Las Vegas furniture market and just review furniture markets in general and reasons you may want to go. So starting out, we want to celebrate wins. So I guess from my perspective, I'll go ahead and start. The region meeting we had in Jacksonville was really well received. People who went really liked it. It was a really kind of an open roundtable kind of format where we would share as a group. I guess there were around 20 some odd people there, but a lot of best practice sharing. I shared the notes from the show, from the meeting, and got a lot of positive feedback on that. So we're looking at making that a more regular part of our system. So probably doing that once a year. I know Tracy did one, a home manager summit in San Diego in August. So probably looking at doing one of these midway between conference and the other part of the year. So probably in the February time frame next year as well, though we've not submitted that. I guess other win, the Gullivers, Lisa and Chris Gulliver in San Diego, you may have seen this stuff already, but they hit almost $1 million for 2018, $946,000, which is an all-time high. And then they did $131,000 in January. I think that's another all-time high, or right up there. So they definitely got things rolling there. So any wins from anyone on the call that you'd like to share over the last 12 weeks or since we've talked about?
This is Patty Holmes. I just wanted to mention that I'm actually doing a proposal on a $1.8 million house in Cherry Hills Village this afternoon. So that's a big one for me.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, let us know how you do. That's exciting. Good deal. Other wins anyone wants to share? All right, tell you what, let's keep going. So one thing I did just want to show you guys, the Showtalk calls, we are making it a requirement for people to either attend or view it as part of our new marketing reimbursement program. But one thing, just so you're aware, we are adding, this is the Showtalk call, you can see this in the doc library, but we are making this a part of the Showhomes channel on YouTube. It's a private video for those who are members, but instead of having to download the videos in the future, you'll just be able to see them right here embedded. So anyway, I just thought I would share that and let you know if you ever can't make the call, or if you want to attend or you want to watch the calls again, they are available 24/7. So I want to go over our automated email marketing initiative that we're real excited about. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you got questions, let me know, and then we'll do a little Q&A at the end. So Adfinitely is our digital marketing company, and you may have seen this slide from them that talks about the now customer journey. And if you look at what is influencing the customer today, there are a lot of things that we've touched on. We talk a lot about social media. You talk about video, display ads, Google, various forms of search, whether it's organic, local, paid search, remarketing. But the one thing that we haven't touched on that frankly is probably a hole in our marketing overall is email marketing. And again, frankly, I had the thought that, well, is email marketing still popular? Are people really using it? And I did some research, and it's actually huge, much bigger than I realized. If you look at 2017 global users, 3.7 billion with a B. In 2022, it's set to grow to 4.3 billion, so half the world's population. So it is the standard for communication. It's not going away. This stat really kind of woke me up somewhat. 81% of SMBs still rely on email as their primary customer acquisition channel, and 80% for retention. So I don't know many of our franchisees who are actually really aggressive with email, but when I look at that, I'm thinking, man, that's kind of a wake-up call for us in general. Salesforce, big multi-billion-dollar company, had a study that said for every dollar invested in email marketing, you'll receive an average of $38 in return, 3,800% ROI, which is frankly pretty stunning. Billions of emails sent daily, 269 billion were sent and received in 2017. It's going up to 333 billion. So bottom line, email is not going away. It is a standard communication tool. And if you just look at, final thing, it's the most effective channel for customer retention, and it leads social network marketing by almost 20%. So it's kind of, I won't bore you with more stats, but the bottom line, it looks like this is something that we need to be spending time on and making part of our marketing program. Now, there's newsletters that we'll talk about that we're going to be sending out, but there's also automated email marketing platforms. So drip email campaigns. So most of you, came in through our sales franchise development program. You received a series of emails from Showhomes. And so the life cycle of a drip email, you're going to get a welcome, and then you'll get, several follow-ups, but there could be a breakup if you don't decide to engage. But again, how can we help you target and automate the email marketing program so you're not having to manually do this all the time? So if you look at just emails in general, I took a look at some, just to give you some examples. There are very few companies that don't have email marketing as part of their overall marketing campaigns, whether it's Virgin. I found some that are, design style, whether it's Kate Spade to Michael's, which a lot of you guys probably have shopped at, especially if you have kids doing projects like we have had over the years. House, I know you guys are huge on House, and I feel like I get a daily email from House. I think I need to do something with my settings, but they wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't impactful and useful. And so realtors, clearly it's a major platform for realtors who want to communicate, everything from success stories to industry information. You've got NAR, that's a major part of what they do as well. It's just a great communication tool. So we have found in a company called My Emma, who's actually based in Nashville, and they're probably the largest player in this space. And so we have an enterprise version account. So we're going to be able to automate emails that we'll be able to send out for you. And similar to the Hootsuite, where we're able to automate the social media. But we're going to be able to have it so you have your own accounts. So some of you have used Constant Contact, some of you have used MailChimp. Emma is probably a higher end version of those. It's still pretty simple to use. If you were trying to get this account on your own, it would be $1,100 to $2,000 a year. But as part of the ad fund, we have an enterprise version. And not only are you going to have your own account, but we've also worked with them to create a custom template. And so shared some of this with the FAC, and I'll show you just a glimpse of that as well. But again, we've got custom graphics. It's mobile responsive, and you'll be able to see it on whether it's a cell phone, mobile, tablet, etc. And again, it'll be easy for them to see. We'll also have all the analytics, so you can track click rates, open rates, total contacts, and You'll be able to see, which parts are they clicking on, what's working, what's not working, and, is it engaging people or not. So we're going to start with a monthly Showhomes newsletter. You can create your own newsletter. They've got tons of templates, and frankly, we probably prefer you that you use the one that we've created. This is just a snapshot of the initial template that you can go in and edit yourself, put in your own photos, but we've tried to make it look with the look and feel of our website, but also we wanted to have, lots of graphics that you can share with your customers. So once you have that template that you put together, you're going to need to create a database. So we've put together a database from the last 2 years of, and really you don't want to go back too far from that, but we've done a data download, and again, over time though, you're going to want to not only have people from your initial download and ongoing that you may want to bring in here, but you'll also want to create a database list. So we're going to have and let me take a step back. Once we're done with the presentation today, and I'm going to send out an email, we're going to get a beta group together, and between now and the conference, we're going to work on testing this thing out, working out the kinks and figuring out how to really work it. And at conference, we'll go over the findings. So we're not going to just launch this and try to figure it out with everybody. So we're going to take a small group. So if you're interested, let me know. You're going to need to invest time and energy into, frankly, learning it and working on sending this out. But if you have an interest, let me know. But for those beta users, on your website, we'll have a little icon where people can give us their information to build your database list. So just some examples. There's a company called Wander, and I'll show that to you in a second. Liberty Tax is one of my Emma's customers, and what theirs looks like. The Palm Restaurant, theirs has a little bit more information because they're trying to get people to come back for birthdays and different events. But again, I think ours is just going to be pretty much a name and email. The more info you have, the fewer people you want to opt in. So to walk you through, I want to talk about drip campaigns, because this one, besides the newsletter, which I think will be useful, having a drip campaign to me is really interesting, because we've got, if you look at it, we've got different customer segments with different needs. You've got homeowners, you've got realtors, you've got home managers. So here's a company called Wander, and it's an actual supplier of outdoor gear. Day one, if you opt into their email program, you're going to get a welcome email, and it's warm welcome, average open rate of 50%. It's the single most important email you can send. But it also lists products that they can click on. And email 2 would be on day 3. So the best email marketing is personal. So customer who gets the welcome may click on specific backpack, and they decide not to make a purchase. Well, Wander's going to track this lady who clicked on it, and they're going to populate content in an automated follow-up with the specific backpack. So if you think about it, whether it's a home manager, realtor, or home owner, you could do something similar where we could have personalized emails. This specific lady, once she buys the backpack, day 5, she's going to get an email that's going to give her content. So they know that she's from Portland, she likes hiking, they're going to send her the top hiking destinations in Portland. And again, this is going to engage her in this hobby, and hopefully she'll buy more stuff. So I've got friends at, just example, Wild Birds Unlimited. They do bird seeds and all that kind of stuff for people who are into birds, and they can target that kind of stuff, and it's creating that desire of that hobbyist to come in and shop with them. And so if you think about that, what are the things that we could do with our customer base as well? And so it's really, You can do personalized emails for every subscriber with dynamic content that delivers unique content to each subscriber. So, it's the ultimate personalization. And so we're pretty excited about this. It's going to take us a while to really, frankly, figure this out and figure the best way to utilize it. I think we're going to try and keep it fairly simple with some newsletters for the first couple of months, and then we'll build drip campaigns. But we're going to test it out, and those of you who are interested, definitely email me or call me, and we'll get you on our beta group. But any questions or just feedback in general? Email marketing or my Emma. Okay. So I am going to shift gears, and we are going to go into our demo of the GPS. So Lynn, I'm going to make you the presenter.
Okay.
You'll need to click on that. You should have an icon.
Oops.
Okay, we can see you.
Can you see me?
No, you need to share your screen. Oh, I can see you now.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I guess everyone's on mute. They're not going to hide back. I wanted to share with you. Can you see the spreadsheet now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I wanted to share with you all this great tool that a friend of mine that works with the Dwyer Group shared with me. All of their concepts use a similar planning tool as this, and I took it and reworked it for us. And I will email everyone this as soon as I finish here, but I just want to demonstrate it real quick. It's easy. The point of it is to just give you some planning, what you need to plan for growth. Say you want to grow a certain percentage next year. This will tell you for every month how many calls do you need to make, how many proposals do you need to send, how many contracted jobs do you need to have based on your history. So for this, I've already filled in some numbers for each month, as you can see right here. And all you have to do is fill in the yellow boxes. So you can see January through February, I filled in some numbers. So this office did $363,000 this year, or in 2018, and their month average was $30,000. So now here's where you put in some information that you may or may not know, but you can at least make educated guesses, or we can talk about how you can dig in to really get your real numbers. At the regional meeting a couple of weeks ago, I was surprised at how many did know their actual numbers on these things. So you probably do too. So let's say for 2019, you want to have a revenue increase of 20%. So here you would just put in 20%, and it'll calculate month by month what you need to do in revenue to meet your goal of $435,000. I think most of you know what your average job is. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put $5,000. Your average job is $5,000. And it tells you how many contracted jobs each month you need to get. What's your close rate? From your proposal to contract, how many proposals do you send out to get contracts? So that's your close rate. And let's say, for example, it's 80%. 80% of the proposals you send out result in a contract. Cancel rate, we all have a pretty low cancel rate, but everyone does experience that house that sells before you get it sold, or the house you can't find a home manager for. So we'll just put 1 there since we're pretty low on that. And then your repeat customers. You can do a data download and just do a month-by-month analysis. You can get a good educated guess on your typical month of repeat customers and referrals. And that's people that call you. You're not out making cold calls to get these customers. They're calling you. So let's say you have 40% repeat and referrals. Okay, so this all calculates out for January, 25 calls to make. Now, these are cold calls for new business on new properties. You would need to send out 10 proposals that should result in 7 contracts at $5,000 each. Now, obviously, this isn't, scientific down to the penny, but it just gives you a plan. It just gives you a roadmap of, okay, my salesperson needs to make these calls. My salesperson needs to send out this at least this many proposals. And what if I did more to get that for each month? So it's just really simple. It's a great tool, a nice roadmap. That's why we named it something that could be a GPS. This can be your GPS for getting the increase, the revenue growth that you want. When you get it, right down here are all the lines and what to enter and what they calculate. So, and then if you have any questions, you can always just give me a call. Are there any questions right now?
Lynn, this is Pratt. On the line 12 and 14, proposals to send and contracted jobs, is that just the new customers that you're calling in your 25 cold calls, or does that include everything?
No, that would be all. That would be all of your, and this would be based on your job average. Now, look, if your job average is a lot lower, then you're going to have to do a lot more. You're going to have to send out more proposals. And let me explain, this came up at the regional meeting. Some of you don't send out a formal proposal for sometimes you get a call from a realtor, send me a contract on this house, and you've already talked about what it's going to cost, they're going to take care of it. So let's say the definition of a proposal doesn't have to be a written formal proposal. It could just be, a handshake or a phone call or whatever. So, let's don't get real technical that it has to be 19 formal proposals. And then, see, this 19, based on your job average and your close rate and your repeat customers, you need 14 contracts because we lowered that job average. Any other questions? Does this look like a tool that would be very helpful for your planning? Not only for a year, but for each month?
Yes, Lynn.
I know everybody's on mute, but I can see you all shaking your head.
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
I'm comfortable when nobody replies, so I thought I'd reply.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, that's it. It's a
Lynn,
really simple
Lynn,
spreadsheet.
this is Bert.
Hey, Bert.
I'd like to just point out that this is more valuable than simply looking at what revenue you're achieving each month, because you're focused on the metrics of what has to happen that leads up to revenue. So it's a much more powerful tool to stay on top of your business, so you don't think you're busy all month and you wake up in the next month your revenue drops. Well, that's because you weren't watching the activities that would lead to the next month's revenue. I think this could be extremely helpful for folks.
Okay. Any other feedback? Awesome. All right, Lynn, thank you, and thank you for... Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to email this out to everyone. And again, if you have any questions or stumble on, well, how can I figure out this close rate or job average, just give me a call, and I'll be happy to help you come up with that.
Awesome. So again, easy tool to use. I suggest highly that you check it out. So hopefully it'll be something that you can utilize on a regular basis. All right, so thank you, Lynn, and thanks for all your efforts putting that together. So I've gotten a couple of questions on my Emma that just to clarify. So number one, does the My Emma provide the email list, or does the franchisee? So the franchisee is the one who provides it. So we're actually, I think I mentioned earlier, taking the data download over the last 2 years. We'll share it with you, and you can scrub it and take out people you don't think are relevant. We'll add that to the database. And when people subscribe to your list, it'll go to the My Emma database from the website, from your local website. And over time, we're also going to be syncing. The plan is My Emma has what's called an open API, which means we can sync Brandman directly to My Emma. So every time you add a specific customer, it can go in there. Not that you can't go in and edit and delete or add people on your own, but again, over time, the plan would be for you to create your master database. So you are clear on that. All right, so let us shift to the final part of the call today. We're going to talk about the Las Vegas furniture market. Bert, our CEO, Bert Lyles, attended. Tracy Hanslick also attended with a group, and Jenny Hawkins from Pasadena and Patty Holmes from Denver also attended and have agreed to be on a panel and share their feedback. But before we get started, I want to just share a little bit about furniture markets in general, these kind of shows. High Point in North Carolina is the big one. Las Vegas, where we've been a couple of times, is growing. It's smaller, but it's a really great show. Atlanta's a big one. Most large metro areas have some kind of show, but really High Point, Vegas, Atlanta are probably the biggest one. High Point's probably bigger on furniture. Atlanta's probably bigger on accessories and things like that. But why should you go if you've not been? Stay ahead of industry trends. This staging industry trends can change relatively quickly, but you want to know what's going on. And is your inventory that you have, is it on trend? Or is it out of style? And you want to make sure that you are the expert. You want to freshen your product selection, find new resources, and find vendors. I mean, you can have just a handful of vendor partners who can really be a big help, and they can share specials with you, and they can really be great consultants in a way. And again, building those relationships is important. When you go, you can meet with your current vendors. Take advantage of market-only specials. Especially if you go the last day, they don't want to take a lot of that stuff with them, especially on the accessory side. So you can get some really great deals. And you can see thousands of unique products, and then you can save money on your inventory at the end of the day buying wholesale. So we can go through a couple of slides just to show you before we get started with the panel. But the Las Vegas furniture market, they do it in January, end of January, and in July. January clearly much cooler than July, but again, it's a good way to kick off the year. I want to say we had around 10 people who attended this year. These are some photos that Shelly Barndaller posted on her Showhomes Houston Facebook page, but you can kind of get a nice feel for the kind of stuff you see, some of the unique accessories, things that you might see at a show, various colors of the same chair with specific pricing. I think she posted that this kind of rug is still in, this cowhide is still popular, but again, there's some really unique things that you can see there. I know Marissa Salas was looking for modern furniture for a while and talked to me about it, and she attended and said she found a lot of great stuff. So why don't we kind of shift to the panel now? So why don't we start? Bert, you've never been to one of these shows, I don't think. So what was So Bert Lawson, you want to give us kind of your overall thoughts about the Las Vegas furniture market and your major takeaways?
I think it is extremely useful for building your inventory. It does create a challenge that you need an order lead time to get these things, and various vendors have minimum orders. But if we go with the Showhomes group, I think we can help in many cases by aggregating our orders together. If you look generally across our system, by far the biggest cash investment people have is with inventory. And by sticking with wholesale pricing versus on-the-fly retail or close to full retail, you're probably going to cut in half your investment for any given level of inventory. So it's an extremely important contributor to a healthy business. The selections are overwhelming. It was very helpful for me as a newbie to have a list of vendors that more experienced franchisees felt were a good fit for us, and I've steered more and more of my time to those vendors, along with wandering the floors and ducking in and tripping across a couple of additional ones that really impressed me. Las Vegas has 5 million square feet of space that is occupied in this show. So it is overwhelming, and having some help organizing on where to put your focus will make it more productive. It's also always nice just to get together with the community of franchisees. We all got together for a dinner one night and typically met at least once a day somewhere predetermined. So we were able to be learning from each other at the same time. I can't recommend it strongly enough as the way to go to build your business and to get a fresh shot in the arm, looking at something different and getting out of your day-to-day push.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's go to a franchisee now. So, okay. Tracy, did you
I'm curious. Yeah, what was your favorite vendor that you encountered there?
Gosh, I'm blanking on the name without pulling out notes. It was one where we had an appointment with a rep for a group of franchisees to go together. An Italian dad and 2 sons run the business, and they had a good bit higher quality stuff than a coaster, with just a small increase in price. Somebody else was there, I'm sure can remember the name of that.
The name? What style was it?
Hi, it was Abbyson. This is Jenny.
Absinthe. Oh, okay.
Absinthe.
Okay.
Yeah. That was an impressive one to me too, Bert. I liked their style.
How do you spell it, Jenny?
Abbyson.
Abboson. Okay, Abboson. Okay. Was
it Sons singular or Sons plural?
It's just one word, Abbyson.
Okay, I was thinking it was SONS, but
right.
Your memory's better than mine. So.
She was telling us about the 2 sons that I think that it doesn't have an S on it.
Okay.
I will say too that Eleni that gave us the tour has been really great to follow up. We got an account set up, and she's been sending a weekly email and etc., offering to help too. So I'm going to say their customer service is probably really good.
So, Jenny, was this your first time? Well, you went to Vegas last year when I was there, right? So you've been before, correct?
I've been
Jenny
to
Hawkins?
Las Vegas before I joined Showhomes too. I've been to Las Vegas probably 5 times, and I used to go to Dallas a lot. And I will say that Las Vegas, for me, I like it better than Dallas. I haven't been to Atlanta, but I like Las Vegas better because it has the 3 different buildings. It seems more manageable that way, as opposed to like Dallas is like 16 floors straight up kind of thing. I don't know. It's just easier physically to manage for me.
So Jenny, what were your major takeaways, and were there any specific vendors or trends or things that you saw this year that you think you'll be implementing?
What I guess major trends that I noticed was lots of color, like, lots of bright color. Not everything isn't muted or gray and white or whatever anymore. And then I also noticed a lot of velvet coming back, I guess. Last year I noticed all the furry chairs, the white fur. This year I noticed velvet. Anyway, I guess that was my major takeaways on trends. And then, of course, we like Coaster. We like Three Hands is an accessory company that we have ordered from for a couple of times, I guess, since we're new with the furniture part of this business. This coaster, and I like Addison. We haven't ordered yet, but
what was that? I'm sorry, Jenny. What was that one you just said? Iverson, or what was it called?
Addison. The one we were just talking about.
Oh, Addison. Sorry. Okay, got it. Okay.
JLA Alex is a really good one. And then Bob kind of introduced us to Furniture of America too. They had fantastic pricing and pretty decent furniture. It was probably kind of on the level of Coaster, but maybe even a little less expensive. So, and then for outdoor furniture, I know that's something that people are looking for all the time. We found a company, and Lisa and Chris had referred us to them before, but Modway is a really good, affordable outdoor furniture company. And they have indoor too, but their outdoor is really nice. For us locally, they will actually deliver it to the house where we're staging if we want them to. So we have a lot of advantages here in Southern California for delivery and pickup and etc. So. And Artist Guild for art is really fantastic too.
So Artist Guild, GUILD.
Yes. They hand paint all their art, and so they have an artist that recreating the same or almost the same art all the time, and they have a lot of really large scale pieces of art that are maybe under $200. So that's really good too.
Okay.
I guess those are mine.
Awesome. So appreciate that. So Patty Holmes from Denver, are you on with us?
I am on.
Okay. So what were your, takeaways? Was this your first show?
It was my first time, yes. So
okay.
I really had no idea what to expect. And as everybody said, I can verify, it was overwhelming. And I didn't even visit a fraction of, the vendors who were there. But I was glad to see that not all of these vendors have a minimum order requirement, and some of them actually ship very quickly, which was good. And I agree with you, Ginny, on Artist Guild. I loved their artwork, and there's no minimum with them, and they ship within a week. And then for greenery, Replica. That was a great place. Really natural, looking greenery, lots of good succulents and trees and things like that. So that I really liked their stuff. And then for accessories, Home Art. Again, no minimum, and they ship quickly. They had some great pots and not wall art that wasn't paintings and things like that. And then I think my favorite vendor, not necessarily from an affordability perspective, was Gabby. I loved their stuff. It was really, really luxe, and they have some fantastic outdoor furniture. Bert, I think you were looking at furniture for your house there. And then some tips for anyone attending in the future. I did not stay in a good location for this event. I was at the Westin because it doesn't have a casino, so no smoke, but it was really too far, and I was constantly sitting in traffic back and forth. So that was not a good idea. Next time I'll definitely stay closer to the market. And I didn't wear the right shoes, so I suggest anyone who goes think carefully about the shoes, because you're going to be walking. I think Catherine said we did like 17,000 steps the first day, so you really do put on a lot of mileage.
Patty, I ended up over 20,000 for both days.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprised. But it was really great. I really liked it, and I will definitely go again. I really wanted to just check it out because I really didn't know what to expect. So I'm glad I went.
Patty, in regards to where to stay, one time when we were there, we stayed at one of the hotels that had the shuttle, and we took the shuttle over instead of trying to battle the traffic and the parking and everything near the market. So I mean, even the Ubers and Lyfts and stuff are really busy over there. So
yeah, definitely.
So the shuttle system worked really well. So I guess I would recommend getting a hotel that has a shuttle, because those run pretty quick.
I stayed at the Golden Nugget last time.
Yeah, the Golden Nugget is pretty good. The Golden Nugget has a casino, and it smells like smoke in there, and I can't handle it.
Well, I run from the casino to the rooms pretty quickly. I wasn't hanging out there, but I'm just saying it has a shuttle, and it's a little nicer than some of the downtown casino hotels. But yeah, if you can find a place with a casino, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
The shuttle rather.
The Hyatt Grand Vacation, is that where we stayed? Yeah, that one is no casino. So
good to know.
So maybe that one to look at. Okay. All right. So, was there anyone else who attended who haven't like to share their feedback? So, Tracy, how about you? I know you've been before, or is this your first time to Vegas? I'm trying to remember.
No, I've been to Vegas, yes, but I've been to 3 other markets, and I would just reiterate a couple things that people have said. The walking is, you got to be prepared for walking, because you're going to walk all over, and it's, a lot of coming and going and stimulus between all the things that you're seeing. Getting a location that has a shuttle is huge. Even if you're paying a little more for the room, you'll be happy that you were able to get on and get off quickly, because it's a nightmare to try to get in there on your own. And again, I noticed a lot of velvet too, and the bright colors necessarily for staging, adding it in accessories and chairs and things like that, you can incorporate the new trends and still be stage friendly. But yeah, color green. I saw a lot of green this year, and kind of a orange, burnt orange, and earthy tone colors,
really bright.
and velvet.
I thought they were really bright.
Yeah, and it did kind of add a little bit of interest beyond what we've seen in the past of all gray on gray on gray, beige on beige on beige. You know, it did add a pop of excitement, so it was kind of more cheerful in a way to me.
Awesome.
A lot of metallic trim, shiny brass, chrome.
Yeah, the shiny metals are still playing real strong, but I think I don't know if it's brass or gold, but that brushed brass or gold quite an impact this year. Even though we kind of have seen it emerging, it was really strong, I would say.
I'd also offer a comment on a special program put together with a panel of stagers with question and answer. And a lot of our team went, and I think we all found it very useful just to listen to them. The takeaway was it's very, very tough to make outdoor furniture work. There's a stager from San Diego area, actually, who said, yeah, they've just practically given up on it because the sun bleaches the colors out so fast. The price points they target for their inventory are quite low, $300 to $400 for a full-size sofa, for example. And they make the point, the key is for it to look good. It doesn't have to be super well constructed. If it looks good and stays on trend with us for 2 or 3 years, then we've made our money. So I think years ago, in my experience, I probably overspent a good bit in going to a higher quality that actually was closer to what I'd want to live with, rather than the quality just to have people walk by and see.
Yeah, I've been to this show last year, and I've also been to High Point. I've never actually sat through the sessions, which I think was a big error on my part. So they've got a lot of learning sessions from stagers, design, vendors, whatever. So I would say block out some time for that. Don't just walking the show is awesome, but you can learn a lot from that.
Matt, I will say too that. Hello, Matt.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
I will just, because you just said that, this time we did go to several of the learning things, and Phil and I split up and went to different ones so we could get more information, and we have never really done that before. So that was very valuable, actually. I want to do that again. So.
Oh, good. So yeah. I did the same thing when I went to the NAR show in Boston, and it was great. And I've been to NAR a bunch of times. I've never done that, so it just, for whatever reason, you can get enamored with the just walking the show when there's a lot of really good content that you should also look at. I think you may have heard me say this, but just as a heads up, as far as the pricing goes, just to give you a personal example, when I went to Vegas last year, I had just moved to a house. I'd moved to a different part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we needed a new dining set. And so the brand that I really liked was called Dovetail, Dovetail. A little higher end than a coaster, but I got a really nice dining set there that I thought, honestly, was the same thing at Restoration Hardware with a bank at and the whole deal. Restoration Hardware is $7,500. My total price was $1,800. So the amount of money you can save buying wholesale is pretty significant. So again, another big reason to get engaged with that aspect of buying. All right. Any other feedback on the Vegas show? It's funny, I look at these pictures that Shelley had, and they're greens and blues and with velvet. finish it. So I think a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is in her picture. So definitely check that stuff out. So I did want to touch on just shows, meetings, and conferences for 2019. I actually had this slide in my last Showtalk call, and I forgot to share it. But if you just look at, and I included our meeting. So we've got our Eastern Region meeting that we just had, and then we have our annual conference in August. But Atlanta, their international market is January and July. Most of them do it twice a year. Vegas is January and July also. High Point, which is in April and October, and you think Vegas is big. High Point is, instead of 5 million, it's 13 million feet. So you think you're overwhelmed in Vegas, it's times, almost 2.5 times as big. But frankly, I like the Vegas one better. I just think it's easier to get around, and you see the major stuff, and it's just a more efficient show. But High Point is like the granddaddy, so I think at some point you should go to, I think you got to go to all of them at some point, to be honest. But if you haven't been to a show, I highly recommend it. Everyone on this call, also, highly recommends going. And so, Tracy, just, since you kind of led this entourage, you have any final thoughts or feedback before we end this topic?
Okay, there, I'm unmuted. I'm talking away. I feel like that the Vegas one, to me, I would reiterate that it felt more manageable. High Point was overwhelming. It's good, but I like the manageability of Vegas, obviously closer to me. And but I just think it's a real good way to stay fresh and stay on top of the trends. We want to be kind of the leader in our markets, and part of that is, having a really fresh product to differentiate ourselves. And so I think it's a real good way to kind of anticipate trends that are coming down that will be popular throughout the masses very soon, and be on the front end of it. Because if you're buying your inventory on the front end of the trend, it takes you further and longer. So that's my.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, Tracy, thanks for putting that together, and sounds like it was a great event. So thank you. So all right, last thing. So it is almost at the end of the time as far as turning in your photos for our annual staging competition. So Lynn, you want to share a bit about that so people are aware?
Yeah, it's time to start putting together your entries for the staging awards. Even though we're going to be a few months later, we still need to get those in. And if we wait, we've been asked, well, why are you doing it so soon? If we wait too long, then you're into the new year doing new jobs, and you're going to forget about 2018. So it's just easier. You got an extra 2 weeks this year than you had last year to get those together. And I sent out a reminder with the deadlines and all the instructions, I think on Friday. And I'll send out another reminder, but start getting those together. That's a very coveted award among our group. So get those in as soon as you can. If you have any questions, let Tracy or me know.
Very good. All right, so we've got 2 or 3 minutes, but any quick questions, feedback, areas you're stuck on, need help on? Anyone have anything that they'd like to either share or get help on? All right. Well, we will be sharing this recording soon on, oh, yes.
So I love hearing about, this is Laura in the Woodlands, love hearing about these great vendors that people liked in Vegas. Is there going to be shared with us a list of some of these vendors, especially the ones that don't have minimums, that we could then reach out to those who didn't get to go to become, to get accounts with, to order stuff?
That's a good idea. Yeah, we will, I'll work with Tracy. We'll try to put that together and send that out. That's a good idea.
Fabulous.
We
Thank you.
we do have a list, a vendor list in the Style Master, one of the Style Master chapters, but I think we need to update it after our experience at Vegas to add a few changes and maybe have a little more sharply focused spotlight. So if you're needing to move real quickly, look on the Style Master in Show You, and the last module of that has all the vendor info.
We
Wonderful,
also
thanks.
do have a vendor list.
Yeah, there is a vendor list that's in Showpedia, but we may want to look at updating that, especially specifically on ones who may not have minimums. So
yeah,
but yeah, and again, if go ahead.
Oh, there's a few that we've mentioned today: Modway, Abison, Three Hands is on that list. The Jenny's artwork, Gilded, that's a new one. I think that's not on any of our lists that we've published before. And so there's a decent list that have come from our fields that people have liked and bought with. That some of this would be a repeat. So quickly you can check those. But yes, we intend to continue to update our vendor list as we get more experience.
And just by the way, the Style Master certification courses that are now in Showpedia, I mean, Tracy, spent, was it a year plus working with the Design Staging Academy, put that together. I mean, and there's a lot of in-depth information and content. So if you've not taken that, I strongly suggest you do that. There's a lot of really good info, and I got a lot of takeaways myself. A lot of things I'd never thought of, and vendors and things that you might not have considered before. So check that out. But very good. All right, we are at our time. A lot of great content. Thanks for everyone for participating, and then for the panel, and a lot of great takeaways. So you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.